Next call is a split call. Mojo Mathis, 5 minutes.
Yes. So I would like to start by saying that the Green Party absolutely recognises, honours and the hard-working commitment of DOC rangers and staff. And I also just want to acknowledge that they have been facing some totally unacceptable level of abuse of recent, in particular around the 1080 DOC. And I just want to put on our record that it's not acceptable that they should have to face that kind of treatment, of having their photos splattered all over social media, their personal home addresses and so on. That is just not okay. And so we absolutely do support giving them more powers to strengthen their ability to enforce the Wildlife Act. But I also want to affirm that it's disappointing that the real problem, which is the underfunding and under-resourcing of DOC, continues to be ignored. It may be stating the obvious, but if you don't have enough people on the ground, giving them more powers isn't going to make a lot of meaningful difference to protecting and saving our endangered and threatened wildlife. Okay, so we need the numbers on the ground, and the numbers have been going down. 8 years ago, there were 833 DOC rangers, now there's 788, despite the fact that we have a biodiversity crisis in this country. So we support the bill, and we support it because we have a biodiversity crisis, with nearly 4,000 of New Zealand's precious and unique wildlife are at risk of going extinct. 800 are listed by DOC as being at very high risk of extinction. And that number has increased by nearly 200 species in the last 5 years alone. Nearly all amphibians are critically endangered, similarly for many reptiles and birds. And just last week, our Marine Environment Report found that New Zealand had the highest number of threatened seabird species in the world, and with 90% of our seabirds at risk of extinction, as are many of our marine mammals. So not only do we have the dubious honour of having the highest proportion of endangered species of any country on Earth, the vast majority of these do not have any active recovery plans in place. And this is a disgrace. Now, the biggest threat to our native species are predation, habitat loss, and environmental pollution. So obviously, coming down very hard on people who are smuggling or killing rare and endangered species is the right thing to do. But they are only the edge of the problem. The main problem are, as I've said, habitat loss, habitat degradation, predation. And so it's a small part of the picture. So we support this bill, but we're talking about the biodiversity crisis. It is just tinkering at the edge of the margin. And this bill will do little to address that. We have to get real about what it's going to take in the way of resourcing and funding DOC to do its work. And I want to give an example very quickly of how this is playing out on the ground. 6 months ago, I moved to a beautiful area that's right beside a scenic reserve, Peel Forest. Now, this forest is not being adequately managed for pest control. So the possums are running rampant through the forest. So much so that on the edge of our property, with one small self-resetting trap, we killed 11 possums in a mere 2 weeks. That is how many pests are going absolutely rampant through this highly unique and important remnant forest, and that is very precious in Canterbury because it is such a small area of forest type that used to cover a lot of the Canterbury Plain. And now Canterbury is one of the most modified landscapes in the whole of New Zealand. So we should be doing everything we can to be protecting these last remnants. And that is not happening because the dock staff are understaffed. Thank you.